Thank you very much. Your Excellency, President of the Republic and the First Lady, you are welcome. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, besides the people in the auditorium, we welcome everyone who is connected in the country. We have people in Gatsibo in the east, we have people in Rutsiro in the west, we have in Burera in the north, and Nyanza in the south. We have people in Europe, in Poland, and we have others following us online using social media platforms, TV and radio. We welcome each one of you. Your Excellency President of the Republic, my name's Mukurarinda Bernard Alain, and I am going to be the MC today for the 19th National Umushyikirano Council. Your Excellency President of the Republic, yesterday we looked at the status of the NSC1 implementation as it was given by the Prime Minister, and we gave remarks on this. As we reflect on your words of wisdom, where you told us that we have to be unified, that we have to be committed, working together, and even dealing with those who deny the genocide committed against the Tutsis in 1994. At this point in time, Dr. Bizimana Jean Damascene is going to give us a presentation on Rwanda's journey of unity and resilience. He's going to give us the journey of what this has looked like for the last 30 years after the genocide. And Dr. Bizimana will tell us how far we have come in building the unity of Rwandans and resilience. I would like to invite Minister Bizimana to come forward and give us his presentation.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, I thank you for this opportunity for me to give you a brief summary on the journey of unity and resilience of Rwandans over these 30 years after the genocide against Tutsis. I will do this in 3 parts, show where we've been, where we're at, and which tells us what we need to do to remain united. In our history, unity of Rwandans was the foundation in the country's existence, socially and in governance. And the colonialists, for their own interests, they destroyed that unity and they put in place the divide and rule policy. After independence, governments in Rwanda created this ethnic majority-based politics which divided Rwandans in every way, with division and exclusion based on where the leaders came from. That ethnic policy was also spread to the eastern Congo in the 1980s, with both countries' leaders conniving and doing this in Rutshuru and Masisi, using that ethnic majority policy. And the consequences are still felt today. The education system in Rwanda was also used to divide Rwandans. Ethnic division was the law in schools, so the Minister of Education could use 5% of the schools as he wants. Gisenyi and Ruhengeri provinces had 65% in schools and in the workplace. And in 1975, Rwanda signed the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, but the government abstained on Article 13 about full rights to education. This governance based on autocracy and division led to what happened in between 1990 and 1994, with MRND party creating the Hutu power instead of putting unity of Rwandans forth. And they incited some Rwandans to kill others. So the Tutsis were killed. 1 million was killed in just 3 months. The genocide was stopped by the RPF in Hotanyi in July 1994. But Rwanda inherited many issues, including large numbers of genocide suspects who were to be tried, survivors of the genocide who needed justice, timely justice, more than 2 million Rwandans who fled to foreign countries, the injured, the widows, orphans, with the psychological and physical wounds as well, the destruction of all institutions and structures of the country, the government's coffers looted by those who committed the genocide, and many other issues. It was possible to solve those problems because we were building from the unity of the Rwandans and power sharing. On July 19, 1994, a government of unity was set up that came from different political parties that had not participated in the genocide. Of the 17 ministers in this cabinet, 9 came from PSD, MDR, PL, and PDC parties, and most of them were civilians. So this was a way to give the governance to the civilians, with the army remaining with the mission to protect the country. Power sharing was also consecrated in the Constitution of 25th November 1994. So with 70 parliamentarians, RPF, MDR, PSD, and PL got 13 seats, PDC 6, UDPR, PDI, PSR 2. And the speaker came from PSD, vice speaker PL, and secretary PDI. And the power sharing was also done in local government with 11 prefets on November 4th, 1994. FPR and PL got 3 prefets each, PSR, PSD, and MDR got 2 each, PDC 1 prefet. The government decided to solve the refugee problem. There were refugees in neighboring countries, especially in the Congo. There were old refugees who were repatriating after 35 years of exile since 1959. Those were the oldest refugees in Africa. To repatriate those refugees was urgent because the genocidal government has encouraged them to flee the country. And once in Congo, the government had continued the genocidal plan, and they killed Tutsis, Congolese Tutsis, and many kept fleeing the country. And even now, we have more than 100,000 here, as you reiterated this yesterday, Your Excellency. And after 30 years, the international community continues, and some countries continue to partner with the Congo to just neglect that issue in the Congo, people being denied their right to their citizenship. Different reports by experts all overlook this issue, even though they know the reality. Some of them are present in different camps, including Kigeme, Kiziba, and Mahama. Since 1994, the genocidal army and Interahamwe militia attacked Rwanda during what was called the insurgency in the northwest of the country. The United Nations and the international community did nothing to stop this. And in 1996, the government of national unity decided to go and bring these refugees back home. The number of Rwandan refugees that came home from the Congo was large, as proved by the UNHCR report, the one that was published on July 11th, 1997. That says between June 1996 and August 19 and June 1997, about 1.6 million refugees had returned to Rwanda. Many were repatriated via, there was an airline that was used. One of the unity of Rwandans, one of the pillars is to put an end to the refugee issue. Rwanda and the United Nations for refugees decided to remove refugee status on Rwanda because there was no reason to be a refugee for a Rwandan. Rwandans who live in abroad today have chosen to do so. They are not refugees. Since 2001, Rwanda started a mechanism to welcome and receive those who return home. In Mutobo, this reintegration camp have welcomed more than 39,000 people, and they are trained in different trades. And when they reach Rwanda, they regret the years they spent in the forest because of a bad ideology instilled in them by FDLR with the support of the Congo. Rwanda solved the justice problem. That was a big problem for the unity. Trials for genocide suspects could not have been done when there was no law against the genocide. The pre-94 government had no law against the genocide because they are the ones who were instilling this genocide ideology. And the government of unity put this law in place on August 30th, 1996, and then the following year the trial started. It was not easy because after 5 years, in 2002, only 8,363 trials had been conducted out of 120,000 suspects who were in prison. That's why we needed special measures. Between May 98 and March 1999, there were what was called Urugwiro talks that lasted 23 days with different experts and experienced people, and they exchanged ideas. That's where we got these Gacaca tribunals that was set up in 2001 to provide reconciliatory justice. Over 10 years, they tried about 2 million cases using 52 $2 million US dollars. Gacaca was much cheaper and it reconciled Rwandans. Just one case would cost $50, which means 19,500 francs back then. The exchange rate was 390 francs for $1. So if you compare this with what was happening at ICTR, just one case, one defendant, the tribunal spent more than 20 million US dollars per one defendant. So for 3 cases in ICTR, it's just the whole budget that was used by Gacaca tribunals. Besides, this ICTR over the 20 years, they only tried 75 cases. Your Excellency, Gacaca's role in promoting the unity of Rwandans was amazing because, as we've seen in 2010 by 28 by the research, it shows that 83% of those who admitted their role in genocide sought forgiveness, and they decided to abandon their ideology. 85% of those whose families were killed accepted to forgive, even though it was a tough choice. Gacaca is one of undeniable signs of the importance of the homegrown answers, solutions in Rwanda. Rwanda's reconciliation barometer has showed, if you look at the research, we were at 83.3%. In 2015, it was 92.5%, while in 2020, we were at 94.7%, which means there's an increase of 12.4% within 10 years. This was not done by magic wand. It's because of Rwanda's governance. That barometer shows that 99% of Rwandans uh, put their citizenship above all, and they respect its values. 94.6%. They say that they understand the country's history. 97.1% confirm that they live in harmony with their neighbors in their daily lives. Research by RGB in 2023 show that Rwandans amounting 93.63% rejoice in the trust in their security apparatus. And this is the very first time in Rwanda's history that the citizens work closely with the security organs without any problem, without them being abused. Your Excellency, among the political decisions above 90% that the citizens say caused this increase after the genocide include this: removing ethnicity in ID cards, returning the property to the owners, an army that integrated those from genocidal forces, activities that done by those who are released to reduce sentences, institutions that find corruption and injustice, participation of citizens in the governance, and using homegrown systems, including conciliators of the Muganda Community Works, etc. Also, the culture of dialogue as we seek solutions like we're doing here in this Umushyikirano Council and within the political parties forum. These decisions have also participated to increasing life expectancy to 69.6%, as we saw in the census of 2022. Your Excellency, if you look at the global level, countries have learned a lot from the genocide against Tutsis. On November 8, 1994, the United Nations adopted a resolution 955 about the ICTR that tried a few of genocide suspects. On April 16, 2014, the UN decided that the genocide against Tutsis was part of undeniable world heritage, and it also decided that all countries have the responsibility to pursue genocide suspects, including FDLR and those who deny the genocide against Tutsis. On January 26, 2018, the United Nations reaffirmed the appellation of the genocide against Tutsis in 1994 in Rwanda. And this resolution also says that every April 7th would be the international day to observe the genocide against the Tutsis. France and other countries respect this resolution. There are other countries have also tried genocide suspects who had sought refuge there, but there's no African country that has done this. However, on April 11th, 2017, the African Union decided to urge African countries to put laws in their books that punish the crime of genocide and its denials, and to pursue the suspects on their territory. And last year, on September 20th, 2023, the 45th UNESCO World Heritage Committee recognized the following sites as World Heritage Sites: Murambi, Bisesero, Nyamata, and Gisozi, to serve as a lesson with the genocide against Tutsis. If UNESCO took this decision, it's because it acknowledges their outstanding universal value to the world. There are many who haven't learned a lesson from this. Well, you see what's happening on social media, Tutsiphobia, which is harbored by the Congo government, like that was used to commit the genocide against Tutsis in Rwanda. Anti-Tutsi hatred in the Congo, calling for their extermination, is not new. In June 1998, Rodio Nombasi, foreign minister in the Congo, urged the Congolese to exterminate Tutsis. And he said this, for us, they are the vermin that must be methodically eliminated by all means. And for us, we have decided to use the means that will exterminate those insects. This is an ideology which is similar to incendiary speeches by RTLM in 1993 and 1994 by the journalists. That's the same ideology being instilled in that Congo, which is similar to the former government forces of September 21st, 1992, saying that any Tutsi is Rwanda's enemy and that he's an accomplice to the enemy, and also adding that any foreigners who have relationships with Tutsis or who look like them are the enemy. In 2002, Belgium issued arrest warrants for Eurodia Dombasi, but the Congo protected him. He died in 2019 without having been judged. Your Excellency, during your remarks yesterday, you said don't be afraid of huge ghosts. We promise you that anybody who will try to divide us, we will not accept that. We know the benefits of and the importance of our good leadership that saved our country in 1994. And now we're here with pride and our head high thanks to you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic. We will continue with you, determined to consolidate our unity and to develop our country based on respect for others. Our youth should not heed the call of those who divide us, like the speeches by the President of the Congo on December 3rd, 2023, repeated by the Burundian President recently in January, both of whom say that Rwanda is the enemy and that they want to support Rwandan's youth to liberate their country. They should keep that for themselves. We don't want that. Let's reiterate that on September 29th, 2014, the Arusha Tribunal gave life sentence in Matayo Ngirumpatse and Edward Karemera to life sentence. Those are former MRND leaders. They were given that sentence because of their role in instilling the genocide and leading Interahamwe militia in the genocide. RTLM's leaders, Ferdinand and Jean Bosco Barayagwiza, were sentenced to 30 years. Simon Wikindi, that famous singer of hatred-filled songs, was also sentenced. Karemera, Wikindi, and others who called people to commit genocide. They died in jail for that crime. This is a lesson for those who call for genocide. I want to end by homework for our youth, as you reiterated yesterday, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, to not stand by on the sidelines as we see those who try to destroy our unity. Rwanda's youth are the strength of our country. They should work harder to respect our country and have it respected. Fighting those who want to decide to fight us and to destroy what we've achieved does not take much. Our youth, I want to tell you that this is our time. You should remain brave and achieve your goals as you safeguard the unity we've achieved. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Minister Bizimana, for your presentation. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, after that presentation, so that we unify ourselves as the children of Rwanda, we're going to look at our second topic on the day. And yesterday, the emphasis was on the role of the youth, how the youth should preserve what has been achieved, and even look forward towards building the future of the country. So we are going to receive the panelists. I'm welcoming Honorable Minister of the Ministry of Youth, We're inviting Doris Picard from the Ministry of Justice, Harerimana Emmanuel, the founder of Muhisimbi, and Niwe Shast, and Munyabugingo Albert, one of the founders of Vuba Vuba. Hurry up. Teta Samantha will be moderating this panel discussion. She is from the Office of the Government Spokesperson. Good morning. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. My name is Teta Samantha, and I work in the Office of the Government Spokesperson. As we are getting ready for the commemoration for the 30th year, the report given by Dr. Bizimana has given us an image of how the unity and resilience of the country looks like. And this panel discussion is going to look at the youth leadership in shaping Rwanda's future. I want to start with Dr. Doris Picard, and she's an advisor in the Ministry of Justice. When we look at the ideology of genocide, we find that it's still very much present. It just changes faces. But how do you find the youth ready? I want to start by thanking you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, for giving us the platform to share our ideas on this. I agree with you that the unity of Rwandans is the foundation of our society. For us to even look at the future, for us to dream big, dream for 2050, it is all based on the unity of Rwandans. The reason why we keep coming back to genocide denial of the genocide, it is because the denial has the intention to destroy the unity of Rwandans. So for us as the youth, they are looking for us. They believe, they know that most of us don't know our history. So which is why I say that for us to fight genocide denial, we need to learn. We need to learn, because denial prepares the minds to hate the leadership. But denial has changed face. Those who deny the genocide have changed, and the strategies they use, they have changed. So I wanted to say that when you look at the image of denial today they don't deny that the genocide took place. They don't deny that because, as Minister said it is hard. It has had to refute history when it is in your face, when it has been approved internationally. But today, they come up with theories to change, to twist history, in a way that you will not quickly understand that they are denying the genocide. So when we look at the history, when we look at how the genocide is defined by the UN, it is a plan to exterminate a group of people based on religion, where they come from, and different other things as to why a group should be exterminated. So there is a plan to all meaning behind a genocide. Another theory is the accusations, which says that those who stopped the genocide are the ones who committed it. That in itself is denial, because it actually says that they killed. Another theory they use is the spontaneous genocide, where they say people woke up one morning, they were angry, and they killed people. When you say killed people, when you don't know the history of the country, you think that, yes, there was a genocide against the Tutsis, it was committed by people, the average population. They were angry. And then this removes the particularity of planning to exterminate a group of people. The face of denial hasn't just changed. Even those who deny have changed. Those who push for denial have changed. We were used to seeing the perpetrators of the genocide being the ones who deny. They were in the Security Council, So after the genocide, they carried denying the genocide, but today it's the youth. It is the youth spreading the denial. It is the children of the perpetrators. It is young people who have embraced denial theories. Another people that we were not used to, it was journalists and researchers. They have made it a business. They are looking for something new, something they can use to spread the message as far as they can. When you look at the history of genocide, nothing is new because it is there, it has always been there, but they look for factors, they look for other things that can push for the denial theories they come up with. What is alarming about the journalists and the researchers is that when they reach top universities, they reach top media houses, which are powerful, and they spread the denial in the news that other researchers, that other media people and other researchers use without knowing that they're embracing the genocide ideology. Other groups of denialists are our neighbors, people from our neighboring countries who have adopted the genocide ideology in their politics, and they spread it in their politics. We need to understand who the denialists are. We need to understand how they speak the denial, because now they're using social media. They spread tweets. They do a lot. Dr. Picard, we have seen you on Twitter. We have seen you always argue and fight with a few people online on social media. How do you want the youth to see what you do? There are young people who don't believe they have enough knowledge to fight back. But let me tell you, you can go and research. Even me, I'm not an expert. I went to school. I wanted to understand what international law works. I wanted to see how the UN, which supervises such crises, how after learning from the Holocaust, they could still not come through when we're going through a genocide. So I made this my everyday job. I need to understand, I study, I educate myself on the past, on the history. So as a young person, you can't say that it was in the past, it's not my business, I don't need to know, but we need to understand, because this affects our everyday lives, it affects our relationships, such as the international relations between Rwanda and other countries. So we, the youth, need to educate ourselves. I was talking to young people who are younger than me, and I was asking them, do you study genocide in schools? You find that when they get to the section, when they go in the upper high school classes, they don't study much about the genocide. So you find that they only have the knowledge they had when they were still in their early teens. So I think we need to build up what we teach the young people, even in upper high school and university. So we have that, but we also need to understand that we have smartphones. Every young person has a smartphone, and they have access to the internet, they're on social media. So we find the youth invested in digging deep on other people's lives online. Why can't we dig deep about our past, the genocide against the Tutsi? And as His Excellency was saying it, we need to educate ourselves. In the families, you might find that someone at school may studying something good at school about the genocide, but when they get back in their families, in their homes, they are taught a different theory about the genocide. You'll find that youth are uncomfortable with the history of the genocide because they don't want to come off as denialists. They don't want to come off as those who do not understand. So they choose to be silent on the genocide. So we need to educate ourselves. The youth has to educate themselves beyond what they learn from schools. I want to talk to the diaspora abroad. When I was at the university, I was known I was known as someone who couldn't tolerate denial. So if you are youth in diaspora, write in your communities, write, read, and share the truth about our history. Let it be known that you cannot tolerate denial. Thank you very much, Dr. Doris. Thank you for emphasizing that the youth shouldn't act like this is not their business. So I want to talk to Emmanuel, who has a non-profit organization. Can you tell us where you got the desire to start the non-profit organization? Thank you very much. I started because of the opportunities I was given by our country. I would like to introduce myself, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. I come from Ruhengeri in the north, in Musanze, in Kinigi. I'm called Emmanuel. I am one of the workers in the parks, and our work is centered on the parks in the volcanic area in Musanze. So we have Muisimbi organization. It's an organization that I started so that we could help our sisters who are teen mothers. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, I thank you very much. As I was saying this, I was born and raised in the village near the volcanic mountains, and my life, if you hadn't saved my life, I wouldn't be here, because I was born in a very poor family where we couldn't even eat twice in a day. We didn't have a place to sleep. I remember where, if we had had food or not, my mother would take us to our neighbors who would have bigger houses, because we didn't have a good home enough for us to stay there. So I want to thank you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, for the opportunities in education. I didn't think I could go to school. I didn't think even children from poor families could go to good schools. I studied primary school and secondary school.
And by now, I'm very good in English and French.
After the work that you had done to empower children from poor and vulnerable families, I graduated. But like every young graduate, I wondered, what am I going to do after high school? I'm coming from a poor family. We live in the volcanic area. What was I going to do? So I looked at the environment, I looked at our community. Allow me to thank you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, for pushing the tourism sector that happens in the Kinigi area, where we have many tourists coming to visit the Silverback Mountains. So I looked in the community and I looked for the youth, and I said, we have the tourists coming and littering our area, and we are sleeping, we're not doing anything. Can we come together and contribute to our communities and our country? We can do something. So we started a small group. We started as volunteers, and we would clean all the roads used by the tourists, cleaning them. And then the institutions that are based there, such as RDB, they saw that we had the passion to do this. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, they hired us, and now I am one of the tour guides in that area. So my problem was solved. I was making money. I built a house for my mother, but as I would eat, as I would drink, I remembered when I lived a life where I couldn't have food, I couldn't have what to drink. Then I thought about others who were in my predicament. So I thought, I can contribute to the well-being of others in this country. There is a small contribution I can give. That's when I started. I started in our village. We had 2 young girls who were teen mothers. They didn't have what to give their children. They didn't have the medical insurance. And I believed I could do something for these 2 teen mothers. I started feeding them. I bought them their medical insurance, and giving them food, but even that wasn't enough. So I came up with an idea of saying, what can I do? I started a project of teaching them how to do tailoring, and today we have assisted 171 teen mothers. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. There is something powerful that you've said, which is sustainability. When you start a project like that, you do not stop there. But there are young people who start projects and get discouraged and then stop. How have you not given up and pushed until you have achieved your goals? The youth has a challenge. And I want to appreciate our government for empowering us and showing us that we can do everything that we put our minds to. We've been given equal opportunities. We just need to focus and set our minds on what we want to do. So I want to tell the youth that if you see an opportunity, commit yourself. We have all been given equal opportunities, whether you're from the city or from the rural areas. We all have equal opportunities. So I felt that once we had been given such opportunities as the youth, I thought that if you are going to solve a problem, you should focus on solving it for good. So this is what we do for our teen mothers. We look at temporary solutions. They will come in red marks or red zone where they need urgent help. Then we have those who are depressed and need long-term empowerment and support. Then for long-term solutions, we also teach them tailoring. We will remain with them. We keep them for a whole year, then we buy them sewing machines so that we empower them. So along that way, we empower the youth. For the second thing we do, some who want to go back to school, we put them back in school. We have two teen mothers who've gone back, 17 mothers who've gone back to school, and we cover their tuition. The second thing we do, their children, their babies, those who can go to school. We have 105 children who have gone to primary school. So we want to break the cycle of chronic poverty. We are looking for partners, for investors who can help us keep doing this, but we have got some who have helped us. So we teach them how to tailor, we buy them machines, and what they sew, we sell them. We want to thank His Excellency President of the Republic for bringing partners such as Governor's Camp, World Safaris. They buy from those teen mothers and they sell what those teen mothers have made, and then they sell it and they give money. So even the young teen mothers are making money. Maybe there is something you didn't say. You didn't tell us that even the shirt you're wearing was sewn by one of the young ladies from your organization. So you're very welcome. You're welcome in Kinigi, because we have young teen mothers who are doing great things in Kinigi. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Minister Abdallah, you have heard the journey of Emmanuel. I want to ask you, when you were young, did you think you would end up being a minister? Thank you very much, Your Excellency President of the Republic. The question that Teta has asked me is a good one, but a very difficult question to attempt to answer it. Because following the conversation that we had yesterday and the speech you gave us yesterday, many people who are in their 40s, they cannot come and tell you that they had big dreams to end up being great people, like a minister of a whole ministry. It would be a lie, because the way we grew up, just after 1994, we were young children. The country was coming from the struggle of liberation. There were bad politics in the country before the genocide. So the only dreams that young people had back then, or children had, was being stable in the country. The dreams we had was to not flee the country and to have food. And if you could eat once a day back then, that was a big achievement. We never thought we could go to school. We never thought we would finish high school. Like Minister Biziman has said, there were some parts of the country where some were allowed to go to school and others were not allowed to go to school. And because we were living in a time of war, some people were saying that some particular people work with Inkotanyi and others are Tutsis, so they were not given equal opportunities. And the politics of that time before the genocide said this: the main work, the main career for everyone was agriculture. Everything else doesn't exist. People should all go to the fields, cultivate, and wait for luck. If you were rich, came from the north, or were part of the then government, for someone coming from a poorer family to dream becoming powerful, it was a nightmare, actually. It could have been considered a nightmare if you dreamt of greatness. But the most powerful thing about what happened to Rwanda after 1994, after the liberation of this country, there are some people who survived the genocide and they were still hiding. So we went back to school after the genocide. The hope, to say that we had hope, really, no, it was difficult because many people who are here know this. You could study and then say that we remember seeing Tutsis running for their lives. Will we not have to pay for what happened? Will we not pay for what our neighbors who committed the genocide did? Will we not pay for the crimes of our uncles and our aunties, those who played a role in the genocide? Will we survive in this country? That was an issue that we all had. We kept studying, but we saw that life was improving. Then after high school, saying that we graduated from high school, then went to university, and others, I chose medicine. I personally chose medicine. Then we started dreaming after university. Even if you were to have a dream, you can't dream of being a minister. So I can't locate when I had a dream of becoming a minister. But Your Excellency, President of the Republic, this is a time to thank you. And I'm saying it on behalf of the people who are here. People who are on their fourth floor, people in their 40s. We want to thank you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, because thank you for the good governance, which has given equal opportunities to Rwandans, especially the youth. You have trusted us. You have trusted us when we were still young. You have taken us on board when you didn't know us, didn't know our families. We were raised in difficult conditions, raised in the village, coming from poor families. We went to regular schools. Some talk about schools in the village where it was difficult to get a good education, but you still trusted us, and we thank you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. So when I try to analyze the governance of this country, led by His Excellency, President of the Republic, which was built for 30 years, this is a leadership that can give you even what you never dreamt of. There are people who say they will reach heaven one time. So dreaming to sit here, dreaming to sit in such a panel, young people invited in a council like this, you wouldn't have dreamt of attending such a council. So this talks about the governance of this country. The last 30 years are a sign that in Rwanda everything is possible as long as we live. In Rwanda anything is possible as long as you live. There is something Emmanuel has said. The youth, many youth that come from poor families, and even those who come from well-to-do families, we long for and we wish that our generation will be a generation that will stop the cycle of poverty. If we grew up from poor families, but should poverty should stop on me. Poverty should stop on Emmanuel. If poverty can stop with each one of us, our country will be economically stable. Allow me, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, to ask all other leaders, entrepreneurs, I see bishops and pastors, those who employ people, non-profit organizations, always trust the youth. Because in the last 30 years, we've been well prepared, and we are ready, and we want to fulfill the duties that will be assigned to us. So please trust us and give us the opportunities. I have a message for the youth, and I want His Excellency to hear this. We met the youth in Karongi in the west. We went to the University of Rwanda in the south. We went to Kayonza in the east. We came here in the city of Kigali. We went to the north in Musanze. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, many of the youth, even when we see what they write to us online, they love you 100%. We see it, we see on our profiles. We are all a team called PK, and they have sent us to tell you that the youth loves you and supports you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. The second thing is, when we talk to the youth, they want to always be with you as much as possible. They want to be with you now and even in the future. Some even think that they want to keep you as an ideology, as a mindset, so that when they face challenges, they ask themselves, what would His Excellency, the President, do? So they want to work like you do. Some have even made a song out of the ideology. They say, if I want to do business, I want to do business like Kagame. We want to make you our modus operandi. But in the last 30 years, I've learned so many lessons, but I'll give a few of them, and I'll allow the moderator to carry on. The youth who are here, who we share the same responsibilities, these lessons I want to share with you. The first lesson. How many lessons are you giving us, Honorable? But I'll just give a few lessons. The first lesson, Your Excellency, is the lesson of simplicity and humility. History has taught us, and I think the elders will correct me, here in Rwanda, every Wednesday after lunch, people would go and study how to be motivate and moderate. People would train in moderating chants to support the president and his family. That was before the genocide. We have seen this in other countries. But Your Excellency, when we look at how you are simple and humble, we want to emulate your simplicity. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, even we are going to compose songs. You know how the youth is passionate. Sometimes you tell us that talk about Rwanda, do not mention my name. But sometimes a young person is made a president of a cooperative. We will be proud of that, but we want to emulate your simplicity. Number two, the second lesson is managing our emotions. We have seen people insult our nation, insult you personally, your President of the Republic. When we know how we trust ourselves and our army, you should have actually yesterday told us to get ready for the battle, to fight. But when time comes for us, we want to emulate how you manage your emotions and how to solve problems without being taken up in the moment. Because the youth, we know it in these days. We have gone to social media, we've been angry. If someone had said, go to fight, the youth would have gone. But Your Excellency, President of the Republic, the way you keep up with the insults, the way you keep respecting the international law, the way you remain simple and humble, I'm telling the youth that should we ever find ourselves in the same predicament as youth, as leaders in the future, we should emulate that. Number 3, and I'll close on that, it is hope and compassion. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, many people make mistakes, like I said. We come from different places. Sometimes we come from the village and we are very hungry. And when they make you leaders, when they make you a leader, you come with your hunger and you are ready to steal because you think it will all rise and end with your position you've been given. But Your Excellency, President of the Republic, you correct us, you rebuke us, and then the next day you'll know that it's about our background, you forgive us, and you trust us again. So the trust and compassion you have for people and the mistakes we do, we should learn to keep emulating compassion. I have learned that because for the youth, based on that, we shouldn't be afraid to solve problems. When His Excellency likes to say this, when he said that young people in tender committees, procurement officers, young managers, if I'm a minister and I call you and I tell you to do this, commit this crime, do these deals, Your Excellency, you have taught us to refuse it. When you see a bad thing, you refuse it. And that's how Paul Kagame operates. Thank you very much, Minister. There is something you have said. How people don't dream beyond. Shast is someone who doesn't know the ceiling. He's one of the managers. He was one of the managers of Bridge to Rwanda, and today you've taken the responsibilities you have today. It's hard for me to speak after the 3 speakers. I would say it started when I was young. I was one of the students who went to those schools in the village. To have a family that has 2 children in a high school, that was a miracle. When you're young, I was one of the blessed ones who went to high school, but my dreams were expanded when I had the opportunity to go and study abroad through Bridge to Rwanda. I went to Yale University. Before, I didn't even dream of going to Yale because I didn't know Yale University existed. And my mind was opened. So in Bridge to Rwanda, we prepare young people and give them international opportunities. We don't look at where they've come from or the families they come from. The opportunities are available for everyone else. It was my first time to see meritocracy where everyone has access to equal opportunities. I wanted to study about the poverty of some countries. I wanted to study about Africa, why Africa was left behind. I wanted to know why we are where we are today. Sometimes we think it's our nature as Africans, that poverty is our nature, or it is the character of our continent, but it's not true. There is a system, there is an economy, there is a history, there is a whole mindset behind all that we see. So I always had the thirst to know, because we grew up seeing Rwanda being built. We grew up seeing a new Rwanda. We grew up with hope of possibilities. So when I came back to Rwanda, I saw that everything comes from education. The education and the empowerment of people. So I wanted to be a teacher because I was thinking of education for human development. How we need to push people to advance, looking at people, looking at their mindsets, looking at the holistic development of a people. So in Bridge to Rwanda, we were taking around 25 students, and we had the opportunity of expanding it, and today we take the most intelligent students here in Rwanda, giving them opportunities abroad, to study abroad. Every year, and today we get scholarships around 10 million US dollars for the scholarships that we give our students. I would say that going for education, the education sector, it was fueled by the question, why are we poor? Why are we the ones struggling? How can we change this? What can we do about our poverty? How can we empower our young people? I don't know about you, but in our time, we used to study to graduate and then apply for a job. That was the system then. We didn't see beyond, we didn't dream beyond, because we didn't think of how people can liberate themselves from poverty, how people were hindered from reaching where they want to reach, yet they can. So we wanted to see how people can get access to international education, and that's how I found myself in Bridge to Rwanda. One of the messages I receive in my telephone is the Vuba Vuba message. Vuba Vuba message is one of the Vuba Vuba is one of the companies that does food deliveries in the city. Can you tell us how you started the journey of entrepreneurship and how you started Vuba Vuba? Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. I think that the idea to start Vuba Vuba, as you said it, started when Jumia left Rwanda. Jumia was one of the other delivery companies. It's not to say that it was not possible to do that business, but more infrastructure was being built and more capacity was being built. So that's when me and my colleague, my co-founder, Kaneza Inosa, we sat and thought. Let me go back a little bit. I started with working for Jumia, and I went to customer service of Jumia, and I was learning on how to grow myself, and I actually rose in the ranks of Jumia here in Rwanda. And as you said it yesterday, Your Excellency, after a short time, Jumia decided to go back, and it is what you said yesterday, Your Excellency, that when someone from abroad comes to assist, they can change their mind and go back. What happens to you when you remain behind? So, as His Excellency said, we shouldn't have the mindset of saying that it is impossible in the country. So I sat with my colleague and we said, we need to come up with a solution. We can come up with this solution as Rwandans, and we can do better than how it was already functioning. So we sat, thank you, we sat and told the team that we were working with, we said, we can do this as Rwandans, let's come up with a solution. Let's solve the problems that we understand as Rwandans for Rwandans. And after 4 years, I can say that me and my colleagues, we didn't lie to you. After 4 years, we have grown as a company, as Samantha was saying, and I know there are other people who buy things and get Vuba Vuba deliveries. We have more than 45 permanent staffs. We have motorbike riders who are more than 130 of them. Thank you. And more of them, more than 8% of the 130 bikes are led by women, are ridden by women. We use electric motorbikes. So we have grown, and we work in the main cities of Rwanda: Kigali, Musanze, Rusizi, and Rubavu, and that's where I was born, that's where I studied. This is what we said, that the solutions, we need to come up with solutions as Rwandans. We didn't think that we were comfortable. We need to stop where we had reached, where we needed to go. We are still focused on growing as Rwandans. We want to solve our problems. and we want to work with those who make made in Rwanda products, and and we want to work with the Rwandan diaspora. So you might be in the diaspora and you want to shop and send things to your relatives here in Rwanda, you can do that. So we're still working on building the solutions that we have built. And this is due to the good governance of His Excellency, President of the Republic, because he always tells us that we can come up with our own solutions. We can create our own jobs. It's a new journey. You will not know most of what you need to do. But it all comes back to the counsel that we get from the country. It comes down to what our country tells us every time. But briefly, that's how we started in Vuba Vuba.
Thank you very much. Minister, you heard that the youth are founded, they have good ideas, they have good projects. What are the plans that you have as the government so that you can help them to develop themselves and how to develop also the country? Thank you, Excellency President of the Republic. The Ministry of the Youth and the Development of Art, we have different measures, and then I'm going to say that in summary. First of all, as they explained, we have an issue with work, with employment with the youth, and the plan that we have is a clear plan, is to work with the youth, to work with entrepreneurs, with the youth, to work with partners and the government to see where we can increase opportunities for employment. The second mandate is for the youth in school, not the youth that is not working, because we count the youth from 16 to 30 years old. What we need to do, we need to find how to keep them busy in entertainment as well. So we would like them to have safe entertainment. Thirdly, we would like our youth to be well behaved. That was said yesterday. We're going to work with other ministries, the parents, the traders, the private sector, so that the youth, we continue to give hope to our country, so that we are not involved in drugs, so that we may be noble, so that when we behave correctly, we can contribute to this nation, and then we can contribute to the development of the nation. Lastly, is just the development of art, so that it can be productive for the artists themselves and increase also the economy of the country. And then the artists last year were glad, really glad, when Trace Award came to Rwanda, when Move Africa came to Rwanda, and then Jealous of Africa, they came to Rwanda. The artists were very happy, and they said, if I have the opportunity, I should thank you, Excellency. The artists said, we learned from the experience of those artists. And then the artists, they just learned how to organize that at an international level. The artists also saw that they are valued, because, Excellency, the leaders, you were present, and they said other leaders also should attend those kinds of events. Also, the artists said that the Ministry of Youth are concerned with the development of artists, and that is done under the ministry, and they were very glad for that. Also is that the artists are requesting, if it's possible, all the meetings that are organized here in the country, whether government meetings or partners meetings, they should have a section of time to showcase their talent. They may be paid, or maybe they may do that for promotion, right? So that all the meetings, so the artists should be there for performance. And I asked, I said, You see here, people are serious here in the Umushyikirano. They said when we are in the 30 years, maybe during 30th, 19th Umushyikirano, people can have entertainment. So their request is that there should be a social event where artists perform, whether paid or whether promoting themselves or just to showcase their talents. That's something also the artist said. Regarding work, particularly, we have an agreement with the ministries and institutions that the projects that we have, they should plan how to find employment for the youth. For instance, in roads constructions, in 20 districts in Rwanda, the roads in the villages, in the rural areas, this is done by the companies owned by the youth, and they do a good job. So now we agreed with Wasak and Minalog that all the water infrastructures is going to be managed by the youth who learned about water management. And all the government houses, we would like to do maintenance by the companies owned by the youth. And then we are building a partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Local Administration, so that all the land that should be cultivated, or the youth who have the strength to cultivate that, and those who want to drive the tractors, those who want just to do any kind of work, so that we would like to do that work all over the country. So wherever there is a cultivable land, we can do that job so that we can earn that money. We would like the youth to join that movement. And today, for the people who are in the meeting, this is something that we did. This is something that we would like to organize so that you can go and buy. There are youth in Kigali Free Zone. There are 80 people that are doing exhibition there. There are people awarded in Youth Connect Award 2020-2021. They showcase what the youth are doing. It's really wonderful. They have ICT solutions, cleaning solutions. They have things that when you go to the exhibition, you can see even those who have handicapped can showcase. Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you that you spoke about Tungweres, the campaign against abuse of alcohol. Is not just a slogan. Tungweres is also a lifestyle. Albert, back to you. How the youth can prepare itself just to compete locally, in the region, or all over the world. Thank you. I think we are on the right track, and then we are ready, we are prepared, because we have people who prepare us. But I would like to say that in 3 ways. I would like to talk about the youth looking for employment or looking for an opportunity to create their own business. We know that when you have the opportunity to go to school, as my friends have talked about it, those who are born slightly before the genocide against the Tutsis, what we did in education, the quality of our education was close to null. So now, as we learn so many other things, we get diplomas, degrees. That's good, but now we need to look for another specific thing that you need to take to the market. For instance, for any employer, if someone is coming to you, when you come proposing a solution to their problem, you don't even wait for an advert. You come and you come as an expert and you say, okay, this is the solution. So we need to be problem solvers. It's easy, even your communication become easier. And I think we have many infrastructure, we have internet, we can teach ourselves. It is very easy. on the basis of the history of Rwanda. You can be a victim of history, of the past. But when we learn from the excellency of President of the Republic or other parents that we have, we can learn from them. We say what we didn't get in class, we can get it another way. And then for the youth who are employed, now, I will say this. It was said yesterday by the excellency President of the Republic, most of the youth, we found ourselves doing services because we don't have a big capital to do other kinds of trades. But the people in the service industry, whether private sector or public, sometimes you go to look for a service and sometimes you are, thank you, you have improved and promoted tourism in Rwanda. There is a lot of people coming for the services. But sometimes when you're providing the services, you find people are angry. They are angry, and then you are paying people who are angry at you. You see, this is everywhere, and then this is something that we have as a discussion. This is something that we need to really to change. We need to improve. Yeah, doesn't require crazy skills. It requires simple just understanding, to understand that people are coming to you and then that you need to be friendly. So this is for the people who are employed in the service sector. And for the people who are just creating companies and projects, we have attained a good level. However, with the youth, when the youth have started the business, when you are called the founder and the CEO, that's a wonderful name. It's really good. However, when you reach that level, sometimes you leave your team, or you start to feel that you don't have to do what you are doing, and you don't give enough dedication to your job or to your project, and then you don't train yourself, you don't learn anymore, and you don't work with your team. So let's go back to our teams and build the processes, build the way we build things to be competitive regionally, globally. For us, our objectives, we are for Africa. We need to be competitive on the continental level. We have that opportunity. We're supported by the government. We would like to share our solution all over Africa. So thank you. With a lot of advice from Excellency President that you gave to us, I listen a lot to your speeches, because this motivates me quite a lot. But you said it even yesterday. There is where you advised us and saying, due to the history and the past, you said, where others work, we must run. Because the past of Rwanda, the history of Rwanda, we cannot allow ourselves to be in the comfort zone. We cannot allow ourselves not to learn. When you have time, spare time, learn how to go a step further. So there is potential in different competition, in Youth Connect, in so many places. There is no participation. Let's participate massively. Although you don't qualify another day, you can qualify another day, and it will be good. Thank you. It is important, the work attitude that you are talking about, and it's in line with the Vision 2050. Just, what do you think about the preparation of the youth in relation to the Vision 2050? I start from the first one. You never appreciate what you have. That is, you never appreciate the jewelry that you have. So the most important is to have an objective. They can blame anything on Rwanda, but they don't say Rwanda doesn't have a vision. I think that starting from the vision, it is important. We are here, and then we can think about the future. We can really move forward. We are talking about 2050 vision. It's important. And that's the first thing. Secondly, there is something, what we can call temptation of mediocrity, and accept mediocrity and say mediocrity is fine. This is something that I would like to say that we need to go beyond that, because our vision is far. When you read the programs, the government vision, then sometimes it's a long journey. It is very important that you don't accept mediocrity, that you don't that you adopt excellence as a habit, especially for us youth. That's what we make us as Rwanda in 2050, where things happen. In Rwanda, it will be really a country where things happen. This will happen. As someone who is in education, I will conclude on that point. I think the world is so huge, and no one knows all. When you talk with someone, someone can tell you, I don't read anymore. I used to read in school. This is not something to be proud of. We need to get this spirit of competing. It won't be easy, so we don't really need to joke around it. In our job, we need to really be dedicated, to be serious. So we don't need to accept mediocrity. Another thing, as I conclude, for the current programs that we have in our institutions, in the government, is that we have opportunities, so many opportunities there, whether you study in primary school, whether you're in secondary, whether you finished where you are employed. We have opportunities for instance, we are helping Rwandans who are already employed to go for masters and PhD. The opportunities for teachers, there are so many opportunities in Rwanda. But are we ready for that? Or are we going to sit back and say, I'm going to chill? As we said, no, we need to have that sense of urgency. This will help us to reach where we are going, because it's far. It requires quite much. So if you want to be different, you can't work like everyone. So we need to be different in what we do and different in our approach. And this has to be done everywhere, from a young person. So whenever you meet a Rwandan, you have to see that brand that Rwandans are doers and achievers. As it was said by Christian last year, let's do that. So 2024 is an important year because we are looking back to see what has been achieved in 30 years, but also we look forward. Dr. Doris, do you think are we ready? Are we reaching there? Yes, we are ready. I would say that we need to keep this as our second nature, just to keep our unity. We have to be united in everything that we do, in business, in education, in civil society. And those who want to divide us, those who want to destroy our unity, they are not brighter than us, they are not skilled than us. We have the skills, we have the institutions that are training us. We have an access, they don't. Those who started the liberation war, they were younger than like we are. So we can't fail this world that is, now we have peace. In the next 30 years, as you see us, we are ready. No one is going to scare us. We are not scared. There's no war that is going to scare us. Thank you, Excellency President of the Republic. This is where we are closing. Now, the MC, you can have the floor.
I feel like you haven't given the youth the cheering that they deserve. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, if you may, we will take a short break of 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and have interventions from the audience, and as we will head towards the closing of the day. Thank you very much. Just a 10 minutes break, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, after the panel discussion we've just had with the youth, this has shown us without any shadow of doubt that if the youth like these can sacrifice themselves, seek solutions, using the opportunities that the country has given them, such as good education, dreams, and creating jobs, this has given hope and shown that it's possible, and this gives hope that if the other young people work like this, the future of Rwanda is secured. We have some who will replace us when the time comes, and this is how we'll keep working together and build our nation. Thank you for giving us the hope as the youth. This is evident to show that those who are older than them, who strived to liberate this country, didn't work in vain. So we encourage the youth to keep building on the successes that have been achieved. If you may, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, we will take interventions from the audience here in the auditorium, and then we will go to the different sites. Allow me to remind you that we are going to start with introducing ourselves and then go straight to the point. If you have heard someone ask the same questions that you want to ask, please do not repeat the questions or try to emphasize. If we reach a particular site, let's find that you are ready on the different sites where you are. We'll give only 2 interventions per site. And if you may, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, we can even take another question here in the audience. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. Let us start. When we give the rationale behind the National Umushyikirano Council, we have Dr. Sneyd, who is here, who wants to say something. We'll start with Dr. Sneyd.
And at a personal level, I feel a little guilty that I get to enjoy this peace and security and tranquility. So as I hear about the increasing denial of genocide, one thing that comes to my mind is the very famous quote from Elie Wiesel, who said, you know, what hurts the oppressed or the victim is not the cruelty of the oppressor, but rather the silence of the bystander. So what I would commit and ask those who live in Rwanda to commit is, how do we not become bystanders for things we see in this country, whether it is denial of genocide or, frankly, simple things on our day-to-day lives. Second, I want to say, Your Excellency, I think you have succeeded in imparting your bold vision and innovation and conviction on the youth. The panel this morning is quite inspiring, hearing from each and every one of them that they are ready to take their destiny in their hands, and expecting from government only an enabling environment and support, but they are willing to innovate, create, and take chances, and they see a brighter future, which is quite encouraging. I have lived around the world. I moved here after 35 years in the US, and I just have never lived in a place where there is such an incredible leadership from the highest level, such clarity of purpose, conviction and bold vision. And I think one of the things that I hope, that I would love to see more in the coming year is how's that bold vision and conviction trickling down? How are people owning? Because you can set very bold ambition. I mean, the president can only do so much. Yesterday he talked about, and one of the panelists recited that, as Rwandan, you talked about how we cannot afford to take things for granted and, not work 2 hours. When others work 2 hours, we should work 10 hours. And when others should walk, we should run. We don't have the luxury. So I think that sense of urgency, I would love to see it shared more. I'm sure many people will share with me that there are incredible leaders in this country, but there are also a lot of people who are afraid to make decisions. You go to government offices, you go to places, and you see a lot of inaction, fear of failure. But if we're talking about being a great country and being, a middle-income country in 2050, it's going to require, the path to greatness requires incredible sacrifice and hard work and risk-taking. And I think we can't take this opportunity we have of such clear and bold leadership for granted. So my appeal to the youth and to the leaders and to partners in the room is, how do we take advantage of this bold opportunity to deliver at scale? We heard, yes, there are a lot of amazing things, but we also heard about the teen mothers, right? So just really my call to action is creating a sense of urgency, a sense of result, and not inaction and delaying making decision and passing it on to somebody else. I don't want to put people on the spot and talk about things that I have asked for that have been passed from one person to another to another. And oftentimes sort of people feel like by passing it to someone else and not making a decision, that thing will disappear, but it won't. And then ultimately when someone higher up asks about it, it becomes a crisis. So how do we get out of this firefighting mode and really strengthen our systems and institutions, but really with a commitment? I mean, the young people said it really well, that not accepting mediocrity and working with the sense of urgency. But for me, I would say this 2 days have been incredibly inspirational, and I'm leaving with a sense of duty and responsibility as a Rwandan and fellow Rwandan, and I will extend this call to all Rwandans and friends of Rwanda to help deliver on the President's vision. So thank you very much for the opportunity to comment.
Narakoze cyane Dr.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sinead. We will take other interventions here in this hall. Four more, and on the other side, we just take 2. Those with microphones, just be ready and stand by. If you have a question, an intervention, raise your hand. I see someone on my right. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, I'd like to thank you. My names are Eric Baisenge. I'm an entrepreneur, a youth entrepreneur. I work for youth volunteers. Your Excellency, yesterday in the wise counsel that you gave us, you reminded us that our Rwanda is not on rent. We are not here renting our country. So it made me think of our nation as a family. Rwandans who are here, some of us have rented houses. When we talk about rent, when you rent a house, you don't pay attention to it because it's not your house, it's not your property, you're just renting it. But when it's your house, you have built it, you will always change the paint, you will always ensure it is well preserved so that it always looks good. That's the image I see when I look about Rwanda. This is how we should treat our country. No one will come to paint our house, our nation. But again, in the counsel that you gave us, you talked about the last 30 years. Can you please go straight to the point? Yes. Your generation, when your generation was studying leadership, we were very young. It made me think of the coming 30 years, the next 30 years. We are going to commit for the next 30 years. The youth can do it. We have seen it on the panel. We have seen it during the time of COVID-19. We saw the youth working in communities. And you inviting us in such a forum, this is shaping us, it's empowering us, and it is allowing us to dream for the next 30 years. And Your Excellency, we promise you to work hard for our nation. I will not conclude without saying that our unity and reconciliation as a country, we grew up in a nation that functioned differently from the previous governments before this. We remember growing up, hearing our families talk about the possession of cows. It seemed like a myth or a story, but we have grown up in a country where actually this is a reality. Communities are given cows. I'm concluding. Can we liberate our mindsets? Can we show other youth how we can build infrastructures like this? How you can give Rwandans cows, but let them leave us as the youth. The youth of this country is safe and secure, and we do not need to be liberated. There is someone else who asked for a speech. Let me ask that they give them a microphone. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Republic. My name's Jimmy Murisa. I represent the youth in the sports sector. I have played soccer at a good level. I played soccer in Europe. And I traveled to other countries and I saw how they work, how they operate. There is an idea I have, and I wanted to share it with the people who are here, as someone who's been given the privilege to attend this meeting. We used to play soccer at school, of football or soccer, and other disciplines, and I saw that the competition, there is no competition in schools. Young people just go for the national teams, and you find that there are things that they missed out, they lacked, and national team trainers struggle. So I want to advise that if we can bring the culture of competition, sports competitions in schools, so that even coaches in schools are empowered and the children in schools are given the training they need. As someone who's been privileged to have been exposed, I know that our industry, a great industry, is the sports industry, which hires many people, creates jobs. Let's look at football, soccer, the amount of money a soccer player can make. I believe there is no other investment where one can make as much money as that for now. And as I conclude, I don't want to conclude without saying this. I remember when we were young, they would come to cheer us. There are people who are talking about the team, the Rwandan team in South Africa. So we thank you that you would come to cheer us and cheer the national team when we play our upcoming games. Let's see someone else at the top. And then we'll come back down at the bottom. Is there someone with the microphone at the top, please? Thank you very much. I'm called Rubagumya Francis. I'm a student at the University of Rwanda. I am a leader of the Students' Union. The students that I represent Your Excellency, President of the Republic, have sent me to tell you that they love you. They love you because you didn't allow them to be like the youth in our neighboring countries who have remained in ignorance because they haven't been empowered to receive good education. Another thing they have asked me to communicate to you, Your Excellency, is the request that they have. Yes, more than 95% study because they've received loans, student loans, but among them in particular, especially the College of Medicine and ICT, there is a group that takes on studies outside the campus. So they're always traveling, going to factories, hospitals. So as the life costs are increasing, it is also more expensive for them beyond the student loans and facilities they give them because of transport and other things that they have to do, not like those students who remain at the campus. So they have requested that I communicate to Your Excellency that they may receive more support, living allowance support, if it can be increased, and if possible, that they can even sign special agreements so that even when they go to other provinces, they do not engage in prostitution because they're trying to get money to be able to cover those costs. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you. Let's take more interventions. Good morning. Your Excellency, President of the Republic,
de la diaspora de France.
Coming from the French diaspora, I want to speak on the behalf of some people who are here, people who are fighting against the genocide denial. She wants to speak for the people who are always fighting against genocide denial. I started at the age of 15. I lived in the south of France. There is a Rwandan community there. It was very difficult for us to have access to information and for us to write our first texts. So I did that work briefly, and as the minister said it, Dr. Bizimana, I'm not a historian, so as I was saying, you have to start small, read small texts, go on social media, educate yourself. When you don't have the strength or when you don't have the exposure to get the information that you need, you can find other ways to educate yourself and also react. Use other social media as well. Today in the youth, there are young people who agree with us, who want to ensure that the negation of the genocide stops. These young people come to us and they thank us. But I don't want you to thank us. I want the young people to share the text, share the tweets, share the posts. Let us work together and fight genocide denial. Let's fight those who spread hate speech. There are some in the diaspora, children of genocide perpetrators. You'll find them on TikTok. They will tell you that machetes were bought for agriculture, for example. We can't buy that. There are some people in the diaspora who always say that we are cockroaches, that we do not deserve to live. So it is our time to fight this. It's our time to rise against genocide denial. I realize that we have run out of time here, but I want us to go to other sites. Let's go to Rutsiro. We have two feedbacks.
bari bambwiye yuko abasemura bahari avuze yuko mu magambo makeya yatangiye guhangana n'abapfobya yatangiye guhangana
The MC is now interpreting the comment made by the diaspora lady from France, and he's interpreting the message in Kinyarwanda to get people who are following us online and live to understand the intervention.
akanavuga ati niba mudashoboye no kubikora nimurebere ku babikoze mwebwe mu rutwite musubiremo inkuru bakoze musubiremo ibitekerezo batanze musubiremo ibikorwa bakoze kugira ngo bikwirakwize mu bikwirakwiza ati mudashoboye kumushakisha ariko nibura yashobora gukwirakwiza ati rero kureka abantu bafite abandi ko nta gaciro bafite kandi hari abavuze bati iminyorogoto abandi bati abandi batwita iki ati ibyo ngibyo tubirebere duceceke ati niba udashoboye no kubirwanya nibura wabikwirakwiza bikagera aho bigera ariko ntiturekere abapfobya n'abahakana umwanya wose murakoze ubwo abari Rutsiro.
Those who are in Rutsiro, you have the floor. Rutsiro, can you hear us? Thank you, we can hear you. Thank you, Excellency. I am Hagabimana Celestin. I'm from Ruseveya in Rutsiro district. Really, thank you, Excellency. In the health sector, you have given us the insurance so we don't get too sick at home. This has increased the confidence and the life expectancy has increased. As you see, in Rutsiro, we love the youth, but our youth is not really employed. Because when it rains, and then when there is someone who is sent to the hospital, whether in Murunda or in Muhoro, they help us to carry the... Please, can you be straight to the point? Excellency, President of the Republic, we request a hospital in Kabona zone, especially also in Ngororero, in sectors of Gira, Sovu, and Muhanga. Sincerely speaking, if you build those hospitals, it will be very helpful. Yes, we understand sincerely that you need a hospital. Thank you, Excellency, President of the Republic. I am Ishimwe Lilian. I am from Rutsiro district in Gihanga sector. Excellency, President, thank you that you are taking care of the youth and then you put a lot of effort so that we can build the future of this nation. Excellency, President of the Republic, thank you for the BDF fund that is allowing us to access to credits and loans so that we can get ourselves out of poverty. However, Excellency, we have challenges related to that BDF fund because to get loans, we are asked to get collaterals. So, Excellency, when you have a project or a business, BDF requests you to provide a 100% collateral. So when you have a simple project, they cover you 75 and then 25% is your collateral. As youth, we don't have collaterals when we finish our schools. If you allow, Excellency, you can help us so that we can review that challenge of getting that collateral so that in Rutsiro we can develop our district by increasing and developing projects and developing so many projects in our area. In Gatsibo, Western Eastern Province, sorry. Thank you, Excellency President of the Republic. I am Kandavanani Evangeline in Gatsibo sector, Gatsibo district, Gitoki sector. I am a member of marginalized people. I didn't believe I could achieve anything. I hoped to get money from you. That was my dream. So then I went to rent a house, and then the house was 5,000, but we couldn't pay it. But the leaders came to us, and then when we were in the area, they trained us with the program. So we started to change. We changed even in our pockets. We started earning money. So the advice that we have given to us has really yielded result. So we have learned some trades. We have learned some crafts. I learned how to do. We learned about sewing, and then now we are just doing breeding cows, and then now what we are doing is just to reach the targets of what we have agreed. So the first day when we bought a bike, please can you be brief and straight to the point? So you keep thanking him, but he's done a lot. So now I know how to ride a bike. I bought a bike. It shows that I have progressed. So I thank the government. So, and then we said that we should call our bike a big car, a V8 car. So so now we have progressed. I would like to mention that we have so many things that shows that we have progressed. With one machine, we have gotten 7 machines. I would like, however, to give you a request. Although I'm very healthy, now I'm a teacher, and then if I have the opportunity to increase the skills that I have, I think that in the near future I would be a headmistress, or maybe I can continue to progress. I thank you very much. Thank you, you did so well. Thank you. Give the floor to your colleague, please. So we promise you that other Rwandans, we promise you that we are going to do our best so that we build the Rwanda that we want. Thank you very much. Thank you, Excellency. I'm Samuel Kwizera. I'm a history teacher in Gatsiba. I'm also a student in Kibogora Polytechnic. I'm talking about the first thing. The teacher of yesterday is different from the teacher that you see before you now. Your Excellency, we are not scared to go and ask people to put suits on us, and then so that we can have nice suits as well, to put on nice suits as well. I would like to thank particularly the First Lady for what she has done. I would like to thank her because she's the chairperson of Unity Club, and then they worked together for the competition that you prepared to come to the universities, so that we had the competition of Ndumuye Rwanda program, and then in 2022 we continued the same program. First Lady, thank you very much, because I was among the first laureates to come, and I'm still performing, and thank you, Excellency First Lady. So the chicks that you sent, they have reached me, and I managed to pay the school fees due to that. First Lady, thank you. Thank you for the invitation to come and display my poem at the Parliament. So I was so happy during that competition. So as I conclude, Excellency, I would like to show that the artists can live of their trade. So that's why we would like to ask the Ministry of Youth to give us a presentation how the youth and artists can work on their products, so that also they work on the intellectual property so that it can be beneficial to them, and then it can also help them turn into a profession. And I can promise you that Gatsibo Youth, Excellency, we have we have the needle, and then we are not scared about the swollen things. So we are ready to bust the balloons.
reka tunyarukire n'ibwota amasimbi ku mugabane w'i Burayi.
Now let's go abroad and hear from them. Let's hear from them. Hear from the questions, maybe the comments. Can you hear us? Yes. You have the floor. I was living in Ruhango, and during the genocide, I was a priest in Ruhango. I praise God that you are talking about the youth. I started in Ruhango as a youth. Now I'm an old man. But I preached the gospel. And after the genocide, we started a retreat, a 5-day retreat of forgiveness. I'm old, I don't speak Kinyarwanda well, but you understand, I hope. I thank so much the President of Rwanda. I praise God who has sent you to work what you do in Rwanda. And I also thank Madame Jeannette. I pray for you today and all the Rwandans. And I would like to thank all the Rwandans, but in particular the Christians of Ruhango, who have given a wonderful testimony during the genocide. 100 Hutus helped me to welcome 500 Tutsis in the parish. Although they were not allowed to help the Tutsis in the genocide and during that difficult time. There is one sister that welcomed 15 people. Before returning to Poland, I know that they survived. Thank you very much, Excellency President and Madame Jeannette, and all Rwandans, but in particular, all the Christian of Ruhango. Thank you very much. He did not forget Kinyarwanda. May God comfort you, bless you, and bless all the Rwandans. Thank you. I'm Ru Tamazile Jr., a student in psychology.
muri university yitwa university abaniga muri university yitwa University of Economics and Human Science.
I'm a student at University of Economics and Science. Thank you for the speech on the unity and development of youth and the panel on the development of youth. We are glad that today that the youth are together so that we can brainstorm on what can develop the nation and the youth. So we got the opportunity to meet as the youth in Poland and in European countries. And then when we met please go straight to the point. So we had a youth network. It was called Rwanda Youth Convention Bureau. It will happen on Wednesday in Poland. We'll talk about the vision of the nation and on the unity of Rwandans. So it's an opportunity for us, Excellency, to ask your support so that this convention may lead us to development and to the unity of Rwandans, to the development of the youth. If you allow, Excellency, I would like to pass a message of the youth. Other youth? Please, straight to the point so that we may really go to the end of this. If you allow, Excellency, I would like to pass the message of my fellow youth in regarding to the protection of the sovereignty of Rwanda. Yes, we understood what you said. We understood your point. Thank you very much. Now on to Nyanza in the southern province. Thank you, Excellency, President of the Republic. I'm Ishimwe Esther. I'm a youth in Nyanza. Excellency, President of the Republic, thank you for the Youth Center because it is helping us to have different trainings and different advice on sexual reproductive health, and then also on different trainings. Please go straight to the point. Excellency, President of the Republic, due to the physical area of Nyanza, some of the youth cannot access the area of the center of the youth. If you can help us to have different centers in Amayaga region, that would be helpful. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Excellency. I'm Shimiemana Inosa in Nyanza district. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your involvement in building the nation, because you have introduced Made in Rwanda. This is what we put on as clothes. In Nyanza, we were known for selling second-hand clothes. This was done by the youth back then. Excellency, thank you that you have given us a cloth plant, and now it is the youth that are involved in making those clothes. If you can help us, Excellency, and then we can increase the skills so that we can have more youth, and that also give employment to others, so that we can have more products made in Rwanda. Maybe we would like to request short courses, and I would like to conclude asking that there will be a day dedicated to Rwandans putting on Made in Rwanda, so that we can give employment to the youth involved in making Made in Rwanda clothes. As we conclude, let's go to the northern province in Burera. Thank you, Excellency. I'm Wize Abdelaziz. Excellency, as a youth, we are learning about the bad past of our nation, which led to the genocide in 1994 against the Tutsi. Excellency, after that darkness, you have united the Rwandans, but also you have rebuilt our nation. There is so much that we have achieved so far. Excellency, President of the Republic, I have a request, however, that there should be a school that teaches governance according to the Rwandan standards. How you help lead this nation, thank you. How you help govern this nation, thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Excellency. I'm Alphonsine Mukarutwaza. I'm a head teacher in Burera. We say thank you as Burera people for all the good things that you have given to us, the nice tarmac road, Basse Butarukidaho, so the activities have started of constructing the road. In primary education, thank you that you put in place Ndumunyarwanda trainings, and then they are going well. Now children and parents, they contribute so that they can support those who are in need. So we thank you that we have the program of feeding children at school. The feeding program at school has improved attendance and really has improved the quality of education. Thank you. Thank you. If you have a question, please go straight to the point. However, Excellency, we have an issue of clean water. There's not enough clean water. And then we have 40 schools and 138 schools with no clean water, and we have a sector with no clean water. If you can help us access clean water, it will help us improve the cleanliness of the area. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you very much. I think that we did a round throughout the country. Back to the questions or to the submissions, Eric Bayisenge insisted on the message of the president regarding the 30 years and how the youth has to conduct itself for the past years. There is Jimmy Mulisa, who had a proposal, and his submissions is that there should be training and competitions between schools and training those who are very young about sport. So with an instance of football, I don't know if the minister in charge of that has something to talk about it, something to address that, training the young, maybe doing sport and football, so that we may also reach to the level where the head of state comes to the stadium as a supporter.
Instead of the questions being answered by different people, let me try to say something. The first intervention mentioned about sports, the minister who is responsible for that will respond to that. I think she has taken note. I believe that it is clear, and the minister in charge of that will follow through with this, and it will be done as it's supposed to be done. I'll quickly go through what was said, but most of the issues raised are similar. Some are feedback, some are questions, some are ideas shared. Let me quickly go through these and say something about it, or I'll try to combine some of the interventions given. So, what Mulisa asked for, it needs to be looked at by the people who follow the sports sector. They should get something out of that idea shared by Marisa on how to move forward the sports sector because that's their responsibility. I believe some initiatives are already in place, but more attention can be given to other initiatives. Regarding the president following issues to do with soccer, I understand that. I understand what they're requesting me. And I also have personal requests when it comes to the soccer team. The reason why I reduced my visits, it's because of them. You could see that they were not changing their mindset, they were not changing their conduct, they were not following up on what they were supposed to be doing. Competitions where you would find corruption, you would find some engaging in witchcraft to win. Very primitive, I should say. That's why I reached the point and I said I can't get involved in this if they want to do it the professional way, if they want to do sports the professional way. And I even told the minister the same feedback. I told them they shouldn't engage in superstitious beliefs. It's another life, it's another mindset, and yet in the country, we should be doing what needs to be done. People know what they should be doing, so when they engage in things that are meaningless, it reduces the perception people have, an image they have of us. That's why I decided to stop following up with the soccer team, and I was not going to be giving instructions to the people who are responsible for the soccer team because that's not my responsibility. But to ensure that things move smoothly, there is a way the government, especially the institution responsible for that, they can help, and even people can personally help. I love sports, different types of sports. That's why I would personally go to visit them, visit the soccer team, visit the stadium and see them play. And I can't be happy with mediocrity. Things that do not stop. When mediocrity does not stop, I can't be happy with it. I'll give an example. I used to go, I remember the late Bihozagara was the Minister of Sports. I went to watch a game. There was a competition. There was a coach. This coach, I think he was from Eastern Europe, one of the countries. I saw him teach and coach the Ghana team, the Ghana national team. This coach used to coach our team. So I went to see a game. In the conversations that we had, people said what they wanted to say. And then the coach, in his speech, said, I have something to tell you briefly. The main problem we have here, by the way, the coach was resigning. The coach said, you didn't invite me to coach this team. You pay me, but I don't want to make a lot of money for nothing because I have no work to do here. So the coach was resigning. And the coach said, what I'm trying to say is, there are people here, as you see us, as a soccer team here, and I'm the coach, as you see us here, we are all coaches. What was he trying to say? He was saying every player here acts as a coach, and they want their perspective implemented. Even in the competitions that the national team will engage in. So the coach was saying, you're paying me to be the coach. I thought I was the coach, but even all the players here treat themselves as coaches. Everyone has instructions to give, yet they're just players in the national team of the country. So what does this mean? I mean, it was clear enough. I don't know if that's still the case. If that's still the case, that would be a problem. If everyone in a team believes that they are a coach, then they cannot take instructions from the coach. That's why that coach quit, and that's why I quit as well, and I stopped visiting the team. The day your conduct will change, maybe I'll come back. But I wish you well, and I hope the Ministry of Sports will monitor this and keep developing the sports sector, in particular soccer, so that the national team will advance and we will support the Ministry of Sports. There are people who have talked about support, loans or living costs funds given to students. Though I feel like the speech wasn't proper, because a very big chunk of the budget goes to the education sector. It goes to assist the students at the university. It goes to the education sector. And the students said that many have the support they need as students, but they asked for more. More to cover traveling and living costs when they go for internship. But when you look at the expenses that are covered by the government for the students, the government gives all that it has. The government
unlimited resources. Nobody has unlimited resources.
The resources we have, we share them. We have limits. Every single thing that for the government to follow and monitor every single thing and spend on it, it's not easy. It's not an easy task. And students as well. We encourage them to work hard. And I don't think it's in Rwanda only. But I do not know if the student representative is only exposed to the lifestyle in the country, but students abroad, it is known that they will do part-time jobs to support their living costs, even though they have student loans. Some work in restaurants, some drive trucks, some cook and work to cover their living expenses. It is done all over the world that students do part-time jobs. So no student can get support for every course, so that they take, for example, they cover costs in the university, costs, living costs, medical costs. We can't cover everything. So as students, I believe those in the Ministry of Education understand what I'm saying. They know the support they give the students. They know the limitations that we have. So when it reaches a point where we can't cover the costs, we look at priorities. And people pay attention to the priorities. The rest, people will keep doing the best that they can between the students and the ministries responsible for these responsibilities to support the students, so that all that is needed to be done will be done. what the ministry can do, they will do, but the students are also encouraged to be responsible so that everything will, it's not easy for everything to be perfectly done at 100%. There is a young lady who is from France who was talking about how the youth should rise and fight genocide denial. I believe her interventions were well understood. She encouraged other youth to rise and do something about fighting genocide denial. A place where a hospital is needed, places like Ngororero. Someone was saying surely in French. And other French words, surely it should be followed up. It should be monitored. People who are responsible for that, the ministry is responsible for that, please find out why that hospital is not there, yet we need it. Pay attention to Ngororero, but pay attention to also other places where we need health posts and health centers. BDF, Rutsiro, people who, the ministry responsible for BDF, I ask you to please follow up on this issue and correct what has been complained about, what wasn't being done, adjust and find ways to do it better. I heard from the people in Gatsibo. We were talking about education. All that was mentioned about what needs to be done, I believe those who are responsible have heard and they will follow through. Before we give long explanations here and long speeches, students in Poland, we have heard you loud and clear, as well as the student who was talking about, I'm just saying this, if you are responsible, if your institution is responsible for some of the issues that were raised here, just do what you have to do and make sure you clear out the issues that have been raised. Someone from Nyanza talked about a TVET and a youth training center. I think it was loud and clear. It will be followed up on, as well as Made in Rwanda. We have heard it. We will keep working hard towards that so that those who are responsible for it and those who are beneficiaries will get the benefits. Going to the northern province, I think it was loud and clear. The roads, access to clean water, those things are also priorities. And those who are responsible for that will follow up on that. I believe they heard it. There is a school. There is a school that was mentioned in the north. All these things, always asking people to talk about it. We can never leave this place if we keep asking people to answer these questions. I think it was heard loud and clear. And those who are responsible are here. Those who have said something here and those whose institutions follow up those things. If no improvements have been made, no corrections have been made, what they will do, inform us, please. Inform us that we talked about this in the Umushyikirano, we raised these concerns, these issues, and you told us that the people who are responsible have heard. I promise you that if we come to know that they didn't do anything about the issues raised, we will find out why they didn't follow up on the issues. But I have something to say.
ku ijambo wabanje gutanga ukariha Dr. Senai
There is something that was said by Dr. Senat, her intervention.
yavugaga
She said something that was very pertinent.
icyambere mushimire ibyo yavuze
I want to thank her for her feedback, which was very clear.
bijyanye n'umurongo twese
And this is what we always repeat:
twakorwa birimo kuza
delivery of service, stopping on the mediocrity. We always repeat this
zatuma
because we want to find a way of how to solve this once and for good. And there is something she emphasized.
hari ikintu yavuze nshaka gusubiza
I want to go back to it,
kenshi
even though we always repeat it.
mu mikorere
Service delivery.
ariko bimwe ndaza kubivuga mu gusoza
And some I'll talk about it when we will be closing. I'll talk about it as we close. Besides thanking her,
ntabwo yavuze ijambo gusa hano
she didn't just say what she wanted to say.
na byinshi
She helps a lot in some of these initiatives.
bitanga n'umusaruro
And we have seen the impact of her work, especially
n'iby'ubuzima
in the health sector.
byinshi
She does a lot, and we will not give the details, but I want to thank Dr. Senait. But there is something she said,
nabyo nk'umuntu nyine
and I think she has encountered this as a person who works here in Rwanda.
adafata ibyemezo
When people do not make decisions, when people do not implement,
nagira ngo nsobanure
I want to explain this.
abenshi koko
Many people,
njya numva babivuga
and I hear people say this,
fear
there is fear.
take decisions cyangwa to make mistakes cyangwa bigatuma ibintu
And this will delay decisions, processes. If something was supposed to be done in a month, it ends up being done in a year. I want to explain on this.
iri jambo rya fear
This word fear, I have an issue with fear.
gute
How and why?
aba bantu bakora ibi ngibi
These people who do this,
ntacyo batinya
they are really not afraid, to be honest. So it's not fear.
if one wanted to see it as a fear then it is an excuse it's not fear because these people why don't you, it is also selective why don't you fear the consequence of doing nothing See, why don't you fear that if it is really a matter of fear you fear to make a decision because you are fearing to make a mistake, you are fearing to fail. Yeah, but all that, if you don't make a decision about doing something, actually there is going to be bigger fear. I mean, there is going to be bigger consequence. You should be fearing the consequence of that, of not doing anything, of not doing the right thing, of not doing different things the right way. Ariko baranabizi.
But they know it.
Batinya gukora
Even when they say that they are afraid
ikosa,
so that they don't make mistakes,
aba bantu benshi tuvuga
most of these people
ntabwo ari abantu
are not
usanga ari bo ku muhanda
are not people who are on the street who don't know what to do. The people that you're mentioning are the people we have paid school fees for, we have sponsored them for master's degrees, for doctorate programs. So why were you sponsored and you studied and then came back to have a fear to decide, a fear to implement, a fear to make mistakes? It's not an excuse. I want everyone to hear this.
yivanemo
I want you to drop this whole excuse, the whole excuse of fear. If you had fear, you wouldn't be working the way you work, in a way that is costing the nation. You should actually be afraid that the nation will incur a loss. So the mediocrity should simply stop. There should never be an excuse around mediocrity. You need to do something today, and then you procrastinate, you give it a week, you give it a month, you give it months. For what? For what purpose? So that you lose the fear? Would you say you procrastinate to lose the fear? You need to choose what you are afraid of, actually. And once you have chosen, it should be fearing the consequences of your decisions more than being in a state of inaction. So I want to thank Dr. Sainit for having brought up this, but I wanted to also thank her for the way she gives up. She gives her efforts towards the betterment of this country. Some things we can do, and it should be done. But what we don't have the capacity to do, it can delay while we look for the capacity. By the way, no one is requested to do the impossible. We have never asked you to do the impossible. We ask people to do the possible. We know you can do it within the means available, but if it is impossible because there are no means, we are aware of that. So I needed to highlight that. I think I've explained it. I don't need anyone else to give any other interventions beyond this. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, for all that was said. Thank you for going through these interventions. And I want to promise that he has gone through everything. I want us to thank the panelists and everyone who's shared ideas. You may go back to your seats. As you're going back to your seats, even the elders who are here, let us not be discouraged, because these young people can challenge us to think that we are losing our post or our position. Let us not think we are going to be replaced by the youth. So let's keep working hard. But again, let's keep supporting the youth. And I know they are ready to take the counsel we will give them. And I know they'll be ready to take on the baton. As we are following the next item on the agenda, I want to remind all those who attended the Umushyikirano that minutes from this council will be shared soon. We want to ask His Excellency, the President of the Republic, to give us his closing remarks after these 2 days of the 19th Umushyikirano Council. Good afternoon. My speech is going to be short because much was said, but I want to thank you. This council, this National Umushyikirano Council, has gone well. It has gone fast, it is clear. I believe better than the others that we have had previously.
ko dutera imbere
So this is showing that we are developing ourselves,
twakwifuza gutera imbere
even though we want to do better than where we are today and more than what we are doing it today, but we want to appreciate what we have today. You need, as a leader, to appreciate first
ntabwo bivuze ko ari
and then encourage for improvement. So
ahubwo nizaza
even though I am appreciating, I am encouraging improvement. Even for next year, can we have a better council than this one? That's what I just wanted to say. So I want to thank you.
mu ijambo rigufi
In a brief speech,
ubundi ntabwo
normally I don't have much to say because
bimwe twabivuze umunsi wa mbere
we said much on the first day. Others you have personally given the interventions yourselves in the interventions that you gave. But now what I want to ask is this. Now I want to ask
ibyo twaganiriye aha ngaha
what we shared
muri iyi minsi
in these past 2 days,
ibyo twasanze
what we
neza,
saw gaps, where we saw gaps,
twashimye
what we appreciated.
ubu tuvuye aha
Now that we are living here,
tuhavanye iki
let me ask, what are we living here with
kugira ngo dutere intambwe
so that we take a step ahead, so that we do better?
twakoraga neza
If we're already doing better in some areas, can we excel? If we need to make corrections, can we quickly correct? Where we saw
kubikosora
big gaps,
bigenda neza
can we correct?
tubifite mu bushobozi bwacu
And I believe we have the capacity to correct, because much we have found that it doesn't require a lot of resources,
hitamo kubi
because it is all about our will to make corrections, our will to improve. The first,
system kugira ngo ikore neza
for a system to operate well,
igomba guhererekanya amakuru
there should be effective communication,
kumva
communicating with other stakeholders,
gushaka ibisubizo
hearing a question or hearing a problem and finding a solution is one thing. So we need to ask ourselves, why do people fail to communicate effectively? Why?
kuko kenshi
Because many times we'll find that people do not engage with each other,
ntawe ushobora gukemura ikibazo
and you cannot solve a problem alone. No ministry can solve a problem alone.
gukemura ibibazo
You cannot solve problems alone. Every leader everywhere, you cannot solve a problem alone.
bituma rero udakorana n'abandi
So we need to know why you are not partnering with your team members to find lasting solutions and quickly.
umunsi ugikora uyu munsi
What you need to do today, do it today.
ugikora ejo ukagira
Procrastinating for tomorrow, for the day after tomorrow, for the next month. Why?
ibyo ugomba gukora
What you needed to do today, within your responsibilities, within your duties, and you want there to be a meeting that prepares the meeting. And it will take days to organize the meeting.
bazizamo bakaza
And then those who come to the meeting, they come late, they come lazy. Sometimes they come and sit and they don't even engage, don't find solutions.
uhura nawe ukabwira ngo yari mu nama
When you ask them, where were you? They'll tell you, I was in a meeting. But my question is, what did you say in that meeting?
wafashije iki
What did you help to change in that meeting? To just attend a meeting?
buza abantu oxygen mu cyumba
Stopping people from breathing because you're just attending? Why do you... By the way, you should have stayed where you are. Why attend a meeting where you're not going to have impact? All of us. I fail to understand why people don't do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it.
nanone byaba mu
Again,
mitwe yacu.
this should be our goal, to work together as a team.
ndanabivuga
And as I'm saying this,
moderator ibyo yatubwira
the moderator was saying this earlier on,
urubyiruko
the youth and the elders, so that some shouldn't feel insecure. Let me tell you, people should be insecure. You should be afraid. If it's about replacing mediocrity, we will replace mediocrity.
bidasobanutse
We will move people who are not giving results.
aho tujya kumubika akwiriye kugenda
And if they need to be kept somewhere, they will be kept somewhere.
ushobora
If,
genda bibabwira kuko
and I'm saying this
njyaho
because others sugarcoat things.
narurangira uteze
I will not sugarcoat anything here because you can do nothing to me. So I will tell you the truth. You will listen and I will tell you what I have to say.
ugomba gukorwa.
The job has to get done. That's why we are here.
Abayobozi mu nzego
Leaders
za leta
in government institutions,
turimo kugira
we
ngo
are in those institutions to get the job done, to serve the nation, to serve the people, to change the lives of our people. If you are not doing this, what are you doing there? If there is a better place you can go to, I would advise you to resign, as a matter of fact.
abantu bagasigara
But give people the space to do what they need to do. Why am I saying this?
inshingano zacu
Our
nitutazifata
duties
ngo abe ari
and
twe
responsibilities, if we don't take them
tuzikora
and do what we are supposed to do,
hari undi
someone else
uzaza akabigukorera
will come and do it for you.
wowe wundi uzaza akabigukorera
And this person who will do it for you
ntabwo azabikora
will not do it
ku buryo washakaga cyangwa ku
in the way that you thought it should be done or how you want it to be done.
gukora
They will do it according to what is right to them.
za mbabazi abantu batugirira baza
So when people show us compassion,
urashonje nkakugaburira
when people say, you are hungry, let me feed you.
ufite icyo kwambara
You have no clothes, I will clothe you.
noneho akajya
It gets to a point where the
w'umunyarwanda
the average Rwandan,
uyobora
whom you should be serving as you lead them,
aba umuturage wa wa wundi waturutse
be-
ikantaranye
becomes a person who owes to the other third party.
So, abaturage banyu
So, do you want your people to be sold off to third parties?
babe abafite
Do you
aba-
want
abafite
your
ibyo
people
babakorera,
to be enslaved to those who give results? Those who are not Rwandans?
nicyo mushaka
Is that what you want for your people?
nimutabikora
Because if you don't do it, your children will do it.
abaza biyita ko ari
And
ibitangaza
those
baje
who
gukiza
come believing they're coming to save
abanyarwanda
Rwandans or Africans, those who come with that belief that they're coming to save Africans, what are they saving you from that you can't save yourself from? If they come complimenting your efforts,
turabishimira
that we appreciate. We appreciate complementarity.
ibyo turabishimira
We appreciate complementarity.
hari wakugobotse
If someone comes in due course to help you on the journey,
wari urimo aho wajyaga
heading to where you are heading to,
ariko ugomba kuba ufite urwo rugendo
but you
urimo
need to already be on the
ujya.
journey. You need to already have a destiny that you have personally chosen to help.
Hazaza umuntu ngo aguhitemo
But
urugendo
no
ugomba kugenda,
random
kandi
person
aragufashemo.
will need to come in, choose a journey for you, and then help you on this journey they have chosen for you. This is what has destroyed Rwanda in the past. This has destroyed Africa. And this is what is destroying us. Africans, you never get tired of your problems. Why do you want the world to always be sorry for you?
Muri abantu bari
Why should you be pitied?
abantu baturuka
Pitied by people from other places. Why? Why should you always be pitied?
iki gituma abantu bagomba kuza
Why should people come in to pity us?
murwayi
What are you suffering from?
imbabazi zo kuza
Let me ask you, why should people pity you, to feed you, to clothe you, do everything for you?
erega umuntu agasanga abayobozi
And we find leaders, you will find leaders
bararimbye bambaye ama
dressed up in suits, on their mobile phones,
ariko
in big cars, and you are a leader in the nation, and you're doing nothing.
hazaza undi muntu
Someone else will come from abroad
akakugirira imbabazi
and pity
akuyobora nawe
your
ubwawe urimo
people
akakugirira imbabazi.
and also pity you, yet you are a leader.
What's that kind of mindset? What is it? You know? People come to look after you on everything. feel obligated to come and nurse you and babysit you, and why? Yes, for those people who have a contempt for you, I don't consider them the main problem. The main problem is you. Why do you put yourself in a situation where you deserve somebody to have a sympathy for you? Why? Somebody to have a sympathy for you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you for somebody to come from, 5,000 miles to come and have a sympathy for you and babysit you? Una ugonjwa gani wewe?
What are you suffering from?
What disease are you suffering from? This has been known for decades. No? We Africans cannot, just all we need is to change our mindset. Just our mindset. And people start saying, this is our decade, this is our century, this is our, yes, when was it not your century? Yes. When was it not your decade? Why? And if you say so, fine, I have no problem with that. This is your decade. How do you want to show it? How do you want to show that it is your decade or your century? By more begging, by entertaining, being looked down upon, by the whole world coming here to feel sympathetic? Really? Always ask yourselves from here, as you go back home and caught up in the traffic in your car, think about it. Ask yourself, you as a person, what can you do to change first yourself and contribute with others to change our country, our continent? And there is a lot you can do, a lot more we can do together. Forget some of these leaders some of whom I was referring to yesterday, who are still living like in a stone age. People driven by, in this day and age, to have somebody still sectarian who is thinking about the tribe, about ethnicity, about as the main driver of the politics, or what the country needs to do, or what people need to do for themselves. It's absolutely sick. And then we go out there and start making all types of claims. We Africans, we this, you, me, this country, this. Yes, you have the right to make claims, but you have to make the right claims. You have to make the right claims because they are there. You can't make the right claims by being sectarian. You have your people, your own people, barely making ends meet, naked on the streets, no food, no nothing, and you are there, you are there talking about, going to, you want to come and teach Rwanda what to do or change what is in Rwanda. With what? You have nothing. Absolutely nothing. But unfortunately, it's not just one case. It seems to be common with people who behave like this, who are lost, for them they have something, whether they have stolen it or they have been given or bribed to, and once the pocket is full for them, the rest of the country, their own people, can go to hell. That's what we see around, especially with the same people who instead of thinking of changing what is in Rwanda, why don't you change what is in your own country? Why can't you even have a sense by which you judge that, first of all, that is not correct. Secondly, it is even impossible for you to do. So what is it? But at the same time, that should also be a lesson to you. If you have people who think about you like that and wish you to be like they keep saying, doesn't that remind you that there is what you need to do for yourself that really elevates you to the level where other people in this world, those who come to help you, where they are and have taken things for granted? Why can't you rise to that level yourselves? What is that, Is it a God-given thing that some people will assume superiority over others and keep, and those who do actually want to keep you to that level, that low level. And you keep to that low level not because of them, but because of yourselves. You are the ones who keep yourselves to that low level. It's not those who wish you to be there. As human beings, why don't you? Okay, as human beings, later on as Rwandans. You Rwandans, what's wrong with you? Let me leave the rest of our continent aside. Let me put it aside. Let's concentrate on ourselves. I don't want to decide what happens anywhere else on the continent we share. It's none of my business. My first priority is here. Our first priority is here. Here. So why don't we, and maybe from that we can work with our friends, work together to so that all of us, there is this common thing that people are talking about, that if you want to move fast, you go alone. Is that what you said? Then if you want to go far, you go together. I want to go fast and far. So it's not, yes, there is no contradiction. Why is it when you want to go far, why don't you go fast? What's the issue? Well, if you want to go to the moon, do you want to go slow? You can't go slowly to the moon. You would not reach there. And so both actually are completely valid. You want to go fast, you want to go very far. So please, you fellow Rwandans and others who understand what we are talking about, let's go fast and let's go until very far. All right? Muharane amahoro y'Imana.
May the peace of God remain with you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Republic, for the address full of wisdom and counsel, which is powerful. Thank you, all of you who have attended this Umushyikirano Council, those who have followed in the country, in Europe, Poland, and others who have used the media and social media. All of you, thank you very much. I would like to ask those who are in the technical team to play a song so that His Excellency and the First Lady will walk out. I ask that we rise as His Excellency and the First Lady gets ready to leave. The first song was okay. Your Excellency, I think the DJ left the room.
Muyandi magambo y'isubizo. Aha.
Baby
DJ mfite itangazo ndagira ngo mbibutse yuko ubwo inama ihumuje.
Have an announcement. We're going to have lunch as we did yesterday. We will use the same doors that we used yesterday. Those with blue and green badges, you know your doors. Those with yellow badges, the protocol will help us. Have a great evening. Thank you.